Hi, welcome to Watch Your DM. I'm Gabriel, and today I am doing a flip through and review of the Cairn Adventure Anthology 1 with content written by Amanda P., Brad Kerr, and Zedek Su. I guess I should start by saying I really, really love the cover of this book. It depicts one of the core objects, I think, from the second adventure, Blood Marm Barrow. This is the one by Brad Kerr. But we did end up playing all three, or trying to play all three of the adventures in this book. So I'm going to do a quick flip through review. This isn't going to be as in depth as the Twin Lakes video, just because it's a substantially larger book. It's got 3 adventures in it. It's 64 pages long. And so, yeah, if you like these kinds of videos, I hope you'll hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more of them, and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified. Also, you can get early access to these videos over at Patreon, patreon.com/watchyourdm. And finally, I need to start saying this up front. Spoilers. I'm not going to be dancing around the fact that I'm walking through this and talking about my act of running this or playing this adventure. So everything will be bared. This video is for DMs who intend to maybe run this and want to kind of get some insights into how things went at the table, either for me as a player or me as a DM. So that's what this is about. I hope you enjoy it. So, Adventure Anthology 1. What's in this book? This is the first official adventure anthology for Cairn. I think that means there's more coming. Very excited to know that Yochai is doing Cairn publishing now, I think, full time, which is super exciting. This book contains 3 brand new adventures written by guest adventure writers, from mansions to mangroves, with adventures designed for quick sessions or settings for entire campaigns. This is the perfect book for any table. Dread Hospitality was written by Amanda P., with developmental editing by Brad Kerr and Yochai Gal, editing by Derek B. Blood Marm Barrow was written by Brad Kerr, with editing by Yochai Gal and Derek B. And The Tide Returning was written by Zedek Su, with editing by Yochai Gal and Derek B. Production credits include cover art by Ben Mara, illustrations and cartography by Rob Matthews, and layout by Adam Hensley. About the adventures is a nice little brief. It gives you the pages like where they appear in the book, and a quick 1 sentence or 2 sentence brief on what's happening. So just read that. Dread Hospitality, a mansion adventure that explores the grotesque, solipsistic nature of power and greed. Blood Marm Barrow, player characters will investigate strange and supernatural happenings in a remote burial mound where bandits lurk and a powerful extraplanar creature secretly dwells. And The Tide Returning is a campaign setting in Hexcrawl set in a vast mangrove wood punctuated by giant building-sized trees. Love these. Dread Hospitality. So, yeah, you get your situation set up. You get your what's really happening. Again, really straightforward. You've got content warnings here. There are a lot of content warnings for this adventure. And some acknowledgments. Especially to playtesters, which is so nice to shout out your playtesters. The adventure hook, there is 1 adventure hook, which is fine. More than you should need, I guess. Get your PCs on board. Also, I really like this here, that if nothing changes, the following will occur. And so it says, after 5d4 dungeon cycles, Lucius will complete his automaton armor suit. While in his suit, he will marshal his automatons and march through the halls, gathering the ritual components in this order. And it lists out the order. Once all are in U4, the living will be sacrificed by fire, and the escaped personality traits will return to Lord Horus. This will not have the intended result. Lord Svork will consume all present and enter this plane, taking young Lord Horus's shape to carve out a demonic realm. So, Crazy Demon comes from the other side by tricking some dipshit noble into doing some dumb dipshit stuff, sacrificing a bunch of humans. Classic. It's a great setup for an adventure, honestly. I really enjoyed this one. I liked how it worked. The rumors table, I think I maybe gave Alicia a single rumor about this place before she went delving. So I didn't use those a ton. You get your important factions and NPCs up front with some pretty punchy descriptions about what they're here for and how they act. This is Agonius Hall, so this is the basically, like, there's 3 stories. This map, I don't think, does a fantastic job of making clear how that works, but, like, it is all here, right? So this is, like, the dumbwaiter, which goes from the top floor to the bottom floor. They connect. They all connect. It isn't super obvious, but, like, it's fine. You just have to kind of think about it for a second and kind of look it over. Also, this, and I think this is probably the part that confused the most, this is the drained lake, which is outside. So, yeah, it's an interesting decision to kind of try and put that all on one map image. It works. It definitely works. And the art for it is beautiful. I actually really like the background kind of texture that they've put in there. I think that's a really cool way of doing that. And the framing treatment is beautiful. So, well done. A little confusing. You might want to spend an extra minute just looking at it. I guess to indicate the floor separations, they do use like U4 for Undercroft, right? So all the U areas are U, all the ground floor areas are G, and all the second story areas are S. You've got your random encounter table. Not going to go over that, but random encounters, use them. The house exterior is described here. The drained lake is described here. There is a way to get into the manse through the drained lake, or to get out of the manse through the drained lake. I think Alicia found the statue in the drained lake, but didn't know how to use it straight out the rip, and so she ended up kind of going the long way. And then you've got some procedures inside Agonius Hall, which, yeah, just make sure to kind of keep this stuff in mind. I'd probably create like a little checklist of just things maybe in your own notes to track. You get your ground floor, first impressions, and then your actual descriptions of the different areas. Of course, the entrance. Also, one thing I do really like is, see, the drained lake is on the ground floor, like paralleled, and so they put all that map here, which is great. You've got your entry hall, really well detailed. I probably even would say a little over detailed, but like that's kind of what Cairn does, is each place is really interesting and has kind of a lot going on. So they don't bother, there's no like empty rooms really in most Cairn adventures, I would say. Like the objective is to have places that are well stocked enough with interesting stuff that the PCs always kind of have something to do or find or overlook. And again, in true fashion for these adventures, they've nailed that, right? Like, look at this. You got 6 bullet points on the cloakroom. It's a place where you put cloaks. And, sometimes it's as simple as, the Dark Azure cloak is pinned with a silver trumpet. Like, okay, interesting. Not super useful, but it is flavor, right? It's color that the DM can lay out. You've got the gallery, the statuary, the banquet hall. The statuary is surprisingly rich with stuff. Lots of really cool stuff in there. The kitchen is described here. The spices, actually. There's a powder. Inside the jar is 2 tablespoons of unevenly ground chartreuse powder. Consume the powder. The ingester cannot speak for D6 dungeon cycles. So how cool is that? Like a little trap. Yeah, it's like a trap powder. Like, who eats powder? Whoever does, they ain't talking. It's fun. That's just fun. Then we get into the second story. Again, you got this nice little first impressions that kind of sets the tone for the floor. You got your music room upstairs. I don't think Alicia actually went upstairs when we played this. The chained library is over here. A heavy oak door is locked, a square, dusty room with rows of chained bookshelves along the eastern and southern wall, and 3 skeletons chained to heavy wooden chairs along the western wall. Locked door. The key is held by both Lord Horace and Catherine. Chained bookshelves. 5 highly illegal occult texts worth 50 gold pieces each. Each text is chained to its shelf. 1 red-bound book rests on top of a shelf. Yeah, you got your blackmail log here. This is great stuff. Great stuff. Sorcerer skeletons. Each is chained to a heavy wooden chair and dressed in desiccated black robes. There's a scroll wired into each skeleton's mouth. Yeah, this is great. This is just awesome. Lord Horace's bedchamber and office. You get your dumbwaiter in here. There is... Yeah, I think the silver trumpet maybe here. Oh, is it ear trumpet? Is in the console, and you can use it to overhear what's happening in the next room. Fantastic. And then the Undercroft. I think Alicia ended up down here pretty quickly through a trap. There was there's a trap in the first floor that dumps. I want to say it's... Yeah, it was right here in G4. There's the gallery, and one of the paintings, I think if you look at it, let's see. Wire hung. All art is wired to an alarm system. Triggers 2 Chevaltron to rush from you 2 to detain thieves. Carpet slightly raised. The prisoner. Okay, yeah. So there's a hidden pressure plate in front of the painting of the prisoner. This is what Alicia hit. She hit it and she fell down the hole leading to U3. So she ended up in the jail. Which is all super interesting. There's an NPC in here you get to interact with. There's the workshop mechanarium, the pantry. Again, you've got your sweet little first impressions. The air is humid and reeks of metal lubricant. Chattering and hammering can be heard. So just sets you up real good. And then you get to potential resolutions, which just describes some different ways that the adventure can resolve. Obviously, Lord Horace's ballroom is the way in/out from the drained lake. So I think Alicia ended up escaping through here when she defeated Lord Horace, or maybe just escaped from him. I actually don't remember how we ended up resolving that. And yeah, so then you get your bestiary, with all the different creatures that are found throughout the adventure. On to Bloodmarm Barrow by Brad Kerr. Bloodmarm Barrow is a location-based adventure for Cairn. Player characters will investigate strange and supernatural happenings in a remote burial mound where bandits lurk and a powerful extraplanar creature secretly dwells. The Bloodmarm is a living crystal from a transdimensional sea of blood. She takes root underground and flowers in darkness, sprouting obelisks that slowly stretch upwards. Her obelisks can steal the body parts of any sentient being foolish enough to make physical contact with her crystal. These aspects of humanity pollinate the Bloodmarm, and she can replicate these human fragments endlessly in a kaleidoscope of flesh. God damn, Brad. Damn, son, why are you making us look bad? This is great. This is fantastic. Really wild shit. You get your timeline of events. You get your hook. I honestly don't even remember how we ended up loading Alicia into this when we played it. I will say these are the adventures she talks about. The Cairn 2nd Edition adventures that I've run for her are the ones where she's like, oh, I remember everything about that. She does not necessarily remember everything about every adventure that I run, right? Like, these ones, they all have really weird, unique stuff going on. The twins, everybody having the same face of the farmer is nuts. Right out the rip, you're just like, what is going on here? Everybody looks the same. You can get a potion that, like, swaps your face with the farmer, but then you're kind of like, what? Like, Alicia was like, no thank you. Like, I do not want to be this farmer guy. Yeah, you've got some really punchy... I would actually say, like, among all of the adventures that I've read from Cairn so far, Brad is kind of doing the most, like, OSE style of, like, you know, really punchy prose that's just very clean and kind of just delivers what it needs to get the thing going, which I appreciate. I really felt like this was much easier to run as a DM. I didn't have to look up as much stuff, and I didn't have to keep as many things in my mind while I was going through it. There's another barrow, so there's kind of like two barrows connected. If the party gets in, I think they go through this here from 4. Oh my god, bitten by human-faced rats. Dude, pure nightmare fuel. So bad. And then the witch in the obelisk. So Mother Sylvia has the farmer's face too. She had her face ripped off. And yeah, this is the blood marm. You get out into here, and that's the thing that was on the cover. And it has the farmer's face as well. The prisoner pit. The farmer's family is here. Babette and Jeanette. This is like straight up like Reddit meme style face is just fantastic. It's so good. And yeah, this describes the deal with the blood marm, kind of fighting that critter. The Golden Dome is this location over here that leads up to the barrow, like this sarcophagus room. It goes out into the middle. Alicia bailed out on this. She was like, "Oh no, there's monsters in the sarcophagi." And she never checked the middle one until much, much later when she came out. The laborer's grave, a little supply room, get some stuff. There's all kinds of great little stuff, great little things to find in here. Just, yeah, really, really great. And then you get out into the Blood Quartz Caverns. This place was a nightmare. It was perfect. It was so weird. So freaking weird, man. The blood well. A cylinder-shaped room crudely carved from the natural stone. Blood runs off from Area 14 into here, forming a black pool 10 feet wide. Hands and faces briefly bloom on the surface before sinking into the black. Jaeger, Area 16, carved this room to prevent the blood marm's excretions from flooding his flesh palace. There's a flesh palace over here in 16. Flesh palace. And what else do you need to say? Flesh palace. Amazing. The pool, 12 feet deep, thrashing with hands and faces. There is nothing at the bottom. Swimming in the pool saves strength or get ripped apart. Survivors are forever stained red and gain plus 1d4 strength from the ordeal. So you want to go level up? Get in there. The Flesh Palace is run by this guy, who is very weird looking, fantastic. Human, probably, but a naturally long, hairless, and pink. He does not remember how long he's lived here. His facial features have drifted across his face to uncomfortable but functional new homes. Each word he speaks is stretched out, slowed down, and detuned. Generally friendly, Jaeger is an explorer of the blood sea and a flesh artisan. He collects swaths of animal matter and stitches it into living art, architecture, and clothing. A kind of body horror Zen gardener. Dude. What are you doing, Brad? I want some. It's amazing. This is so fucking weird. The lower blood marm, which you will run into. Let's see, I think, 17 is the stalk, the root of the lower blood marm. And there is a gash here that is a portal to the demiplane of the Blood Sea. You can go to the Blood Sea! It's a whole demiplane of blood. It's terrifying. It's amazing. There's bloodfish out there. What bleeding animal did I just crawl out of? If you get out, you crawl out of a bleeding animal. Ugh. Yeah, blood marm. Absolutely wild. So crazy. Okay. The Tide Returning. A mangrove hex crawl written by ZX2. Now, I'm going to level with you. We did not make it through this adventure. I think the fable of the witch folk tell, the setup was really good. Zum needs adventurers. Okay, got it. We're good. Principal characters, well articulated. You've got interesting stuff here. The adventure summary is fine. Hexcrawl looks beautiful. The problem is in the heart of the setup, there is just an implied level of dehumanization as part of the whole thing. Like, it's not something you can take out if you don't want it. It's fundamental to everything that's happening here, and it's basically like these people, these servants, are turned into objects, and they are literally objectified. And so I'm going to say, like, I appreciate what this is doing. I think it's good in what it is doing, and it does it well. Unfortunately, playing like an adventure game with my partner, this subject matter, the topic, and the way it was presented made it very unenjoyable to actually engage with, which may well be the point, right? It might be the case that, like, the objective of Zedexu was to create something that made people feel uncomfortable to interact with, and so kind of force them to think about the objectification of servant peoples and, like, just how this is, how closely this maps to colonialism and the shittiness of hierarchy and the way that in the real world people are objectified, like all that stuff. But that's not the game we were trying to play, so it definitely didn't land for us. I can say I prepped it and I tried to run it, but yeah, we pretty quickly kind of hit some things that Alicia wasn't comfortable with, and I really wasn't super comfortable with, and I had a really hard time kind of getting through the material in the first place. One thing I will say is that, from like a setup perspective, there's some great stuff here. Like the market of Zum is nice. You get firearms, you get protective charms. The canny ware is what they're described as. This is these are the people turned into objects. And so the fact that they were at the market was a little weird. Exploring the world, another thing they kind of did here that is really, it was hard to adjudicate, but I get it, I think, is that every watch the tide changes. So when the tide changes, how you can move through the hexes changes as well, because it's a mangrove, right? So, like, it's a big pile of trees kind of floating in the ocean, and the ground is the roots. And so the whole thing kind of just changes shape as the tides go in and out. You get a couple of stat blocks for some of the creatures. These are your encounters at low tide, and some combined results from these two. So weather, I guess, and then your combined results. Yeah, mostly you're just looking at some stat blocks here, and then you've got kind of the story as it is, which is that there's a war in the woods. The Silver Eye of Lady Gull is like governor of Once Soot. I feel like there's like a couple of, there's like, I don't know, some kind of indigenous like resistance story going on here that I think is interesting, and like a witch battle kind of, or a witch war kind of thing going on. You got the Runaways, which is like a runaway love story thing. You got your locations in the woods. Godfish Bones is a weird location. I actually didn't find this organization of these to be super helpful. And I don't think, I also found, like, I didn't really find the way that these were written to be how I am, what is useful for me as a dungeon master. I definitely prefer more bullet points with like kind of more clearer hierarchy of what's going on in the text. So I personally had a really hard time prepping this for a number of reasons, and then, like I said, I was kind of unable to finish running it for a number of other reasons. I may give it another whack with some other groups just to see if I can get my head around it and see if I can get the juice out of it that Zedek is trying to give. But the tide returning. The problem with Grand Aunt Gnang's plan is this: her past self has none of the knowledge her present self possesses. Young Gnang will always cut off her arm and doom the wood's history with Zum to repeat. However, if you escorted the runaways or otherwise helped bring the scepter to Grant and Gnang, you become fate's agent in this matter. You are pulled into the past. You stand on a laterite rock-strewn beach. Young Neng attributes as Hunter, page 49, has been challenged to a duel by the Zum King. No Zum folk blood may be spilled in his presence, but he travels with 2 guards for safety. Should Neng lose the duel, Neng must marry the Zum King. Neng is about to agree to these terms. So, Adventure Anthology 1, it slaps. It came in the box set. I'm sure that you can still get this, and you should. It's worth it for sure for the 2 that I was able to successfully run. And I think the 3rd one may be even more important, but definitely more challenging to run. So my advice would be to pick it up, see if it finds a place at your table, and enjoy the fruits on offer here. I look forward very much to the next Adventure Anthology for Cairn 2nd Edition, quickly becoming one of my favorite game systems. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you'll hit the like button. Do the subscribe thing, whatever. Also, if you want to pick up the Adventure Anthology 1, there may be a link in the description to Drive-Thru that is an affiliate link. And if you purchase through that, you'll be chipping a little bit of money towards me without costing you anything. Of course, if you want to get it and support the creators, which I highly encourage, you're going to want to get it from the Cairn store, and I'll provide a link for that as well. So, yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.